Whether it's snakes, spiders, or the dreaded poisoned apple, we try to avoid poison at all costs. But there's a lot we can learn from and about it. That's why Danny is live at the poison exhibit at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Danny, it's getting toxic in there, or what's going on?
Yes, Claudia, it is getting toxic in here, but we love it. That is exactly what we want from this amazing exhibit. And honestly, it is so cool to be in here today. And I'm joined by my friend, Jenna Turvin. And Jenna, we love hanging out with you. You always have so many fun things to teach us. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm excited to show you this exhibit.
Yeah, this one is really, really cool. I had to dress the part.
I know, it's the perfect color.
I'm just trying to warn people of how poisonous we're going to be getting today. So this exhibit is all about poisons in our world, poisons in folklore, poisons in pop culture. Tell us about the area we're in right now.
Yeah, so we start off in the Chaco Forest, which is a forest in Colombia, and there are a lot of poisonous things in this forest, whether it be animals or plants, and so we get to kind of feel like we're in that area and explore them as if we were actually exploring the forest.
Definitely, and it feels very foresty in here, and like Jenna said, the second you walk in, you see these. Tell me about this guy behind me here. I'm not usually afraid of spiders, but this guy would freak me out.
Yeah, well, I will say it is already 3 times magnified.
Okay.
So this is not the normal size of it, which definitely makes it a little bit spookier.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the wandering spider, and here we're looking at a spider that has a venom in it. And so venoms are like poisons. They have the same kind of toxin, but it is something that gets injected into you. So if this spider were to bite you and inject you with the venom that it has, it would probably have a little bit of a reaction. You wouldn't be feeling too great. Not deadly, not anything too bad, but you're not going to be feeling like you want to go to work that day.
Totally, yeah. Gonna have to take the day off.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
And of course we get to the ones around it too, and we have so many people here, which is so wonderful. But we're talking more about these animals and these plants. The colors too stand out as well, right? I mean, is that something that kind of coincides with poisons and with venom?
Yeah, it absolutely can. You know, a lot of times if something is poisonous and that means that it doesn't really want to be eaten, the color can definitely signify that to its, its predators that are trying to eat it. We think about certain butterflies that are really colorful and it will make it not want to eat it. And then, behind us we have the bullet ants, which that has a really strong venom, and that is something that is like one of the most painful things you can get bitten by in our world. So yeah, I highly recommend avoiding those. Although some people, there are some indigenous cultures and places around that use them as part of different ceremonies. So, when you grow up and live around these things, they become a part of your culture.
That is so interesting, and that again is what makes this exhibit one of the more fascinating ones, because you can learn so much about this from way different perspectives, which is awesome. How long is this exhibit running, Jenna?
Yeah, so we have it here until January 5th, so quite a while.
Yes, definitely, and obviously we're seeing a lot of kiddos in here today. Great time to bring the kids during the summer, right?
Yes, and this exhibit is included with our admission, so it's a great time for family, for the kids. There's so much to see. There's a lot to read and a lot to learn about, but there's also a lot to see visually, right? Like we feel like we're in the forest here. There's a lot of stuff to feel like you're a part of when you walk through.
Amazing. Well, I kind of touched on it before, and we're going to touch on it a little deeper later, but it's not just about animals and plants here, right? There's so much more to this exhibit. Tell me more.
Yeah, so, poisons and venoms come from plants and animals in our world, but we have heard about them in our storytelling, in our folklore, in our myths and legends, and also in reality too, right? History, there's a lot of history that has to do with poison, and so we get to explore more of that as we go through the exhibit.
So awesome. We talked about it at the beginning. We got snakes, we got spiders, but we also got that poison apple, so we have to make sure that we're staying very aware of what's around us and our surroundings. Jenna, thank you so much. I'm so excited to get to that part of the exhibit too. I want to share all of that with people in our history and our folklore, but this will be a really fun one. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yes, and like I said, guys, don't go anywhere, because we're going to get into the folklore of this. You've seen this in books, in movies. We're talking poison when it comes to our culture. So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk all about it. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are live here at the Power of Poisons exhibit at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and we've been learning so much about the amazing animals and plants, and we want to broaden our horizons when it comes to poisons a little bit. We're back here with Jenna, and Jen, there's so much to learn in this exhibit, which is so cool. Before we get into some of the kind of more folklore-y stuff, tell us about this tree behind us here.
Yeah, so this is the yew tree. We have a model here, and the yew tree is really, really cool. You might be familiar with it because Voldemort's wand uses a piece of the yew tree in his wand.
Yeah.
But there's also some real science behind it too. So the yew tree is a toxic tree, and not only is it toxic, but scientists have studied it and have been able to take some of the toxins that are in it and turn it into medication for us.
Oh, wow.
So there is a compound in it that is now used in some cancer treatments, which is really incredible.
Oh my gosh, that really is. So yeah, you've heard of the tree of life, guys. There you go, the tree of death. Although it sounds like it can help on the other side too, which is so amazing. Now tell me too about some of the folklore and pop culture things that we have in the exhibit here, because I just walked past a whole witch's brew, 3 witches going at it. Tell me about all the stuff we can see.
We have so many different dioramas really that show scenes from stories that we've all grown up with or that we know, from Shakespeare to the Mad Hatter in Alice in Wonderland to even stories that are maybe not from this country but from all over the world. And they talk about how poison is a big part of those. The Mad Hatter specifically comes from mercury poisoning, and how hat makers during a time were using mercury in these hats and it made them go mad. And so there's some science behind some of these things that we think are just fantasy or just stories that we've grown up with.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And these are all parts of the exhibit. Now, there are also some interactive parts of the exhibit as well as some live shows here too. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so we have this live show, which is really fun. One of our staff members is going to take you through this story of a real life poisoning that happened in the 1830s in England.
Wow.
And it was really the beginning of toxicology. So for a long time, people were getting poisoned and there was not much we could do about it, or could we even investigate it, right? There was no signs to say, yes, they were poisoned, or no, they weren't.
Oh my gosh.
And so this is it tells the story of like the beginning of that and how scientists were able to determine, was someone really poisoned, or was it just old age, or what happened to them? And people can come up and participate in the experiments that they do. It's a lot of fun.
That is so awesome, because again, so often, you know, we go to things like the zoo or the museum and it feels like you walk through and you leave. Here at Poison especially, we can come through, we can really learn, we can really engage, which is so nice. And there's so many interactive portions to it too, which is so cool. What's your favorite part of the exhibit?
Ooh, it's
Do you have a
so
favorite?
tough. There's so many different things, but I do really like some of those stories because there's you just don't think about all the ways that poison has shown up. And you know, I look back at some of these stories, I'm like, wow, this is what I grew up with.
Yes.
Like, these can be a little bit dark, and yet, you know, they were just fairy tales that we had, and there's some science behind it, which is really cool.
Amazing. Well, Jenna, we cannot wait to learn more. Thank you so much for joining us out here. This is so much fun.
Yeah, thank you for coming. It was a great time.
Yes, and guys, this is the place you want to bring the kids and be this summer. Make sure you come check out the museum's latest exhibit, The Power of Poison. It's running all summer long, actually into January, and is perfect for the kids. The exhibit is included in your museum admission ticket. You can visit DMNS.org for more information.